Lao people came to the United States in 75 post-Vietnam War / American Secret War, or a lot of Thai restaurants are owned by Lao people. And so on the secret menu, there was Lao food. Lao people went to work in Thailand. And sometimes you can't say you're Lao or you're going to be treated less than.
Oh, wow.
And so you had to acculturate, you had to learn Thai, you had to, so think of Thaification. If people don't know about it, it's a real thing that people had to like switch their identity, rebrand themselves to be able to be treated well, to be able to get the job, to work on farms. My mom in the refugee camps, and like how they literally came from Laos to the Midwest with nothing but recipes in their head. And I think the beauty of it is that you can create the world that you want. My mom created Laos in Wisconsin. I think of one moment of like them telling us, oh, get out of our country. Like it was just like a lot of young white kids that didn't know any better.
What does it mean to cook from a place that the world might have just forgotten? Today's guest was born in a refugee camp, raised in small-town Wisconsin, and spent years watching his culture get mislabeled, hidden, and served on someone else's secret menu. Now, he's written the most important Lao cookbook in a generation. Saeng is a chef, food educator, and author of the Lao Kitchen, a 6-year labor of love that is part recipe book, part history lesson, and part love letter to a community that has been waiting decades to see itself on the shelf. In this conversation, we talk about the real story behind Lao food, the history of Thaification, growing up queer and immigrant in America, and why his mother, the Padaek lady of Janesville, Wisconsin, is the reason this book exists. This is The Hungry Immigrant.
All right, welcome back to another episode of The Hungry Immigrant with me, Dr. Abang Brian. And I have a guest with me who actually I've been admiring from afar, really. He so happened to be in DC for his cookbook tour. And so I was like, hey, do you want to come on the show? And this is the first time we're meeting each other.
Yeah, first time.
So thank you for believing that I'm not a scam.
Yep.
And I'm not
real.
AI.
He's not AI, guys. He's legit.
So we have Saeng here with us today, who is on his cookbook tour, the Lao Kitchen.
First off, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and chat with you. This is my 4th stop of the book tour. We were in LA, San Diego, Dallas, and now Washington, D.C. So I'm really excited for this stop because it's going to be a lot of the Lao community here.
Wow. And like in total, how many stops are there?
We have 13 total, plus one that's in the making, so probably 14.
Wow, you started the tour with one not even confirmed yet.
Yes.
Okay, we're giving our fingers crossed for you, but like, yeah, I'm just so excited about this cookbook because first and foremost, my question to you is, I think a lot of people out there is going to ask the same question.
Yeah.
What is Lao food?
Yeah, no, that's a common question. And now I'm like, Lao food is this book. But essentially to like wrap it up, Lao food I think is food that is from the country of Laos, but essentially to understand Lao food, it is very much the pillars of like sticky rice, unfiltered fish sauce, which is called Padaek, and a lot of fresh aromatics. And so one dish that people probably have had but didn't know that it was from Laos is actually lap. So lap is a dish that kind of encompasses all of what Lao food is. So you have the dish lap with whatever protein you prefer, and then you eat it with your fresh aromatics and herbs that come from the garden, and then the sticky rice comes from the sticky rice patties. If you were living in Laos, you were making it. And so it's a whole experience with also the bone broth that you enjoy. So that's kind of like an introduction, like the flavors of Lao food at least.
Right. And why do you think Lao food is so underrepresented?
I think it's underrepresented because...
Well, is it underrepresented?
It's very much underrepresented. This is the first Lao cookbook of its kind in like years. So many, it's been long overdue. And so me as a person that is passionate about Lao food, I've come to understand that a lot of the times people may misbrand it because if you're not familiar, Lao people came to the United States in 75 post-Vietnam War / American Secret War. And so they were refugees. They didn't have much, but they have knowledge of cooking. And at the time, Thai food was also becoming popularized.
Right.
And so a lot of the times, in the Midwest at least, a lot of Thai restaurants are owned by Lao people. And so on the secret menu, there was Lao food. And I think that also came from a place of like confidence of like, oh, is my food enough? Is it too funky? Is it too this? And so from 75 to now, we see this progression of like passion and confidence, and you have this next generation, including myself, that is no longer fearful of understanding, like, oh, we know where our parents came from, but we want to do better for our community and culture. And that means also celebrating the flavors, the authentic flavors of Lao food.
So I think being Malaysian as well, this is something that the minority Asians, I would say, right? So like a lot of time, people will always know Thailand, Thai food, Japanese food, Chinese food, or what is Chinese food in America. But then you say like, oh, I do Lao food or I do Malaysian food. They'll be like, okay, so how is that in comparison with Thai food?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
That is, I would say I get annoyed when people say that, but I'm fine to be annoyed. I answer it.
Yeah.
But I think for me, my way of advocating for Lao cuisine, and I'm very much like Lao food centered. So I try, when I reply to those questions, I try my best to like focus on the people and not the comparison.
Right.
So I usually tell them like, Laos is a landlocked country in Southeast Asia. Yes, it has borders with Thailand, Vietnam, China, Burma, but I also tell them how important like Lao food history is. And so like example is that, Laos used to be this huge kingdom that because of war, colonization, all of that, because of the conflicts between Thailand and Laos, that kind of changed. Like food doesn't have borders. And essentially a lot of the food of Lao cuisine came over into Thailand. And now you see kind of this confusion almost.
Right.
But I tell people, if you're so passionate in Thai food or Lao food, you have to understand the history. Because like think about Isan area, which is northeastern Thailand. That used to be a huge chunk of Thailand, and then the French gave it over to Thailand. Or it was used to be a huge chunk of Laos, and the French gave over to Thailand. So it's those types of important history that is needed to learn about in order to understand the context of food. And I think that's also the fun part of understanding food and why it's so important. So when people ask like, oh, is it like Thai food? I tell them, no, because it's its own people, its own culture. You just gotta go read the books now.
No, you also mentioned unfiltered fish sauce.
Yes.
So for someone who is just listening to this for the first time, who is like, this is their introduction to probably not even Lao food, but like Southeast Asian food, fish sauce is obviously something that is funky, that is like, based on fermented fish and things like that. But what is unfiltered? Why filtered, unfiltered? What's the difference?
Yeah. So a lot of times, filtered is like the fish sauce, like maybe from Vietnam that you can see through clearly. It's a little brown, but you can see through clearly. But unfiltered is one for Lao cuisine. It's like our salt, essentially. It's this fish sauce that is fermented for almost over a year in order to be able to use it. And then it's really murky, it's brown, it's like, it's intimidating. But if you know how to use it, then it just makes your cuisine so much better.
I wish y'all could see my face right now because we have that in Malaysia.
Probably similar, right?
And I didn't know that it was called unfiltered fish sauce because we call it budu. And it is not clear at all.
Yeah, it's not clear at all.
It's murky and it's like, it's super good.
And like for Laos,
it's very umami.
Specific because we make it with our sticky rice. So we like to call ourselves like children of sticky rice.
Right.
And so sticky rice is used in all the cuisines.
Okay.
And so I think the specialty unfiltered fish sauce in Laos is because we use sticky rice bran.
Right.
And it creates this other floral like arrangement within like the fumes of Padaek. It's so good.
Okay. And it's called Padaek.
It's called Padaek.
And you eat it with everything.
It's like our salt of Laos. So so you have like the liquid of the Padaek, and then you have the fish chunks.
Right.
So you turn the fish chunks into like a gel, a type of dipping paste,
Yeah.
and you use the liquid for like stews or papaya salad, things like that.
Okay, so talking about all these funky foods and the different foods that come from Lao, and also how proud you are of Lao food. I'm also very proud of Malaysian food.
Yeah.
Right. And I heard from a little bird. I think you said in one of the interviews that you had, you said the spicier the better.
Yes.
So, this is called the Sambal Survey. I traveled the world with 2 or 3 different sambals. So sambal is like a gel to us, like we eat it with as a condiment, sambal. And we just want to see whether my sambal is better than a sambal that you buy off the shelf.
Wow.
So it's a blind tasting.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
And my sister is going to bring the 2 sambals. Yeah, just put it here.
Oh, wow.
And you're going to taste it and tell us like what you're tasting
Okay.
and which one you would prefer.
Got it.
And I will give you some spoons and also my blindfold.
You made this personally?
One of them.
Okay.
Okay. And then one is just store made.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is 1 spoon is for you, 1 spoon is for me.
Okay.
And because I made mine, obviously I can already tell which is mine,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I'm going to blindfold myself.
Yes.
In the tradition of culinary wars, you will feed me the one that you're tasting as well.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
And let's go.
Wow.
Okay.
So should I give it to you first?
Yeah, just use 1 spoon for
Okay,
me and then
this
1
will
spoon
be
for you.
your
And
spoon. Okay, let's mix it up. Okay, I'm gonna mix this one, make sure.
well, don't mix the
Okay, there you go.
sambal.
Oh no, I'm mixing the plates, so. Okay, here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. Okay. Should I try that one too right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this one's spicy. I know which one is this.
Okay. Oh, I need some sticky rice.
So y'all eat sticky rice with everything,
God,
right?
that's spicy.
Like
Yeah.
sticky rice is your rice.
Every meal. It's like our
Oh,
bread
interesting.
with our hands. Oh, that's really good.
But it's
Okay, you ready for
spicy.
the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I already know what that one is.
Okay, 1 second.
But let me just.
Open up. Okay.
I know which one is mine now.
Okay.
It's very clear. Okay, so just tell us what you're tasting. So for people who don't know what sambal is, you know, what are you tasting?
I taste like this aromatic paste that is like sweet but also very spicy at the same time. I wonder if is there a fish sauce in there or is there what's the salt or maybe just regular salt?
Yeah, so like sometimes we put crushed fried anchovies. Yeah, so that's the umami, the fishiness to it.
Yeah,
Or we
yeah.
have sometimes we use shrimp paste as well.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which one do you like? The first one or the second one?
I mean, they're both different. I think if I had sticky rice with me, I would enjoy this one because it's very more aggressive. The
It is
spice-
aggressive, yeah.
It's very spicy.
Yeah.
And then this one is more mild.
Yeah.
And this one I feel like I would put like in a noodle sauce. So it depends on the purpose. For me, that's how I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
approach
yeah,
it.
yeah. So like I like it when I talk to different people,
Yeah.
and certain people term it that way. Like I would eat this with this, and
Yes.
some people match it differently. And yeah, so actually these 2 sambals are the same type of sambal. So like
Oh.
sambals in Malaysia, I can write a whole cookbook on sambals, right? There's hundreds of sambals. It's like jiao, like a different. It's like a condiment, right?
Yep.
So this one is for the same purpose. It's called sambal tumis, which is usually served with coconut rice.
Okay.
So the nasi lemak, right, which is our national dish. So yeah. So which one do you prefer? Oh,
Because I
depends
like,
on yeah.
Yeah, it depends. So if I'm eating it with Lao food, I would prefer this one.
Okay, so to find out whether
Oh, no. Am
Saeng
I
chose
right?
my sambal or not, please tune in to the video portion that comes with this podcast.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna tell you. Just watch it. Watch it when it comes out.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I think it is this one.
Well, that's really really spicy. Let's talk about Little Saeng.
Okay.
How did Little Saeng grow up? How did he arrive here in 1992? And
So let's see. I was born in a refugee camp in Thailand, and then so my family was there for several years. But I was born later, and right before they were about to leave the refugee camp.
Yeah.
And so I got from Thailand to southern Wisconsin. I was raised mostly in a really small suburban town. It's like mostly there was not many Lao families, maybe 5 or 6 Lao families. Everyone else was mostly white, and it was a place where I got to learn what quote unquote what America was for me, and in this small town.
Right.
So like outside at school, I would eat cheeseburgers, hamburgers. I was on like the free lunch meal at school, and then when I went back home, it was all about eating Lao food. It was my mom was constantly making Lao food, and so a lot of the dishes like that's what we had every day at home. But I think for me, like I didn't really have much. Like my parents were very protective because like we're in this new place, we don't know the dangers of going outside, of letting your kids play, and so my parents were protective, and a lot of times my playtime was like going into the kitchen and watching my mom cook and helping her out, and so I think essentially that's where my passion for Lao food came.
Right.
Yeah.
But growing up in Wisconsin, I mean, paint me the picture because I'm a new person to America.
yeah.
What is southern Wisconsin like? Did you,
Yeah.
well, being the only person of color there, What kind
Yeah, very much. We were only person of color, and like I mean, there were other refugees of like from Cambodia, Yugoslavia, probably Vietnam. There were some Hmong people, and so the weather there too. I think that's the drastic difference that my parents realized. Like you have these winters that are super
cold, right?
cold, maybe similar to DC, but also summers that are super hot. And just a lot of farms. Well, actually, a lot of farms. Very different from DC.
Right.
So that was maybe the familiarity of my parents because they were farmers back in Laos. So being able to see that was some kind of joy, at least. So that's where we got to start working on farms because they knew how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like growing up, did you have situations where you felt like you were an outsider? Were you ashamed of your food? Did you have those moments?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, like a lot of my friends were white, and so that was my norm. But my parents never let me bring over any friends. So I don't know why. Maybe it's because they were ashamed, but they never explicitly said it.
Okay.
But I would have moments like, oh, can I go sleep over at my friend's place? Like, no. Can they come over? No. And eventually, it wasn't until high school they're like, oh, they kind of like ease into it, like, oh, maybe they can come in. And that's when they started sharing like sticky rice with my friends and like dips and all that. They loved it.
Right.
And I think it was this gradual progression of like, oh, like my kids' friends are loving our food, so I think maybe we can slowly introduce it. But they would always put the padaek under the sink or hide it away when people came over. Not even just them, but it was always like, oh, that's too funky for them.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there were moments also like racism in small town of Janesville, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't know any better. They don't know people that looked like me. Like it was just, we were foreigners to them. But I think at the same time, it was an opportunity to educate. So our neighbors, they were so kind and incredible people because they were very open to like, seeing us barbecue outside, and they would smell the barbecue and come over, and like we would also share food with them. So it was those types of moments that I appreciate of growing up in Wisconsin.
But yeah, so talking about being ashamed of the bedak, right? I think this is something very similar for every immigrant growing up in America. I think David Chang talks about the smell of kimchi in his house, and I think every other guest had talked about it. And I think one of the chefs that I had actually had rocks thrown at him for just being different, right? But he's obviously older than we are, but you didn't particularly have experiences like that. Was there any like defining moment of racism that you can remember?
I mean, so when you were saying all that, it makes me think about like my parents. They struggled a lot in terms of even being in Laos, and so like even you think of Laos and Thailand. Back in the day, Lao people weren't seen as equals. They were almost seen as second-class citizens.
Explain this.
And so, like, a lot of Lao people went to work in Thailand. And sometimes you can't say you're Lao or you're going to be treated less than.
Oh, wow.
And so you had to acculturate, you had to learn Thai, so think of Thaification. If people don't know about it, it's a real thing that people had to, like, switch their identity, rebrand themselves to be able to be treated well, to be able to get the job, to work on farms. And so I think that essentially trickled within the community, of Lao community, so wherever they went. And so like the shame came from not just being in America, but also the history of Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And that took a long time for them to get out of that shame. And I think for me as a kid coming from these parents, so seeing my parents maybe not as confident, that also trickled into me. And so I had to build that confidence for myself. And so I think within living in Janesville, I mean, I think of one moment of like them telling us, "Oh, get out of our country." Like that was the one moment that I can think of, but it didn't happen as often. It was just like a lot of young white kids that didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But luckily, no violence. It was just not being treated as well.
Yeah, but how did that, coming from that background of being conservative, I wouldn't say ashamed, but like very conservative, very more of an introvert, we are careful about what we say and how we represent ourselves, translate into then being this person who is on social media talking about your culture, talking about your food, and now you sitting across me, when you tell me that, I'm like, oh, how did that happen?
I know, how did that happen? So yeah, no, it's true. I was a very quiet, introverted kid, and like I kept to myself. Well, I had my moments like growing up. My mom, I would have like disputes. I was like, I don't think this is right. I don't think this is, and I would tell my mom like that, but she would like, oh, she'd keep the peace, and I was opposed to that. And so I was the rebel. I was the middle child rebel, two sisters, And so I think I wanted more in life, and I eventually moved out from Janesville to Madison, Wisconsin for my undergraduate degree. And I think that opened my eyes to the world even more, seeing like meeting other Lao people, other Lao kids, and knowing that I wasn't alone, and other kids from Southeast Asia. And that gave me craving more to explore the world. And so then I left to Hawaii. And I think that really shifted my perspective because I was like, oh, I'm free almost. And growing up as Lao, but not only as Lao, but also queer, I think that having to navigate those places was tough, but it made me more confident and stronger in who I am and what I do. And I like to say, like, this book wouldn't have been written if I wasn't queer.
Right.
Like, I think having to come out, having to
justify your existence.
Yeah, and I was like, this applies just as much to Lao people and Lao
Absolutely.
cuisine. I was like, it is very much aligned. And so I think that's where the confidence, the showing up for myself and the people comes from. But for me, I'm still a very much introverted person. I
can tell
love my
that.
own
Like,
time. I love my peace.
But okay, let's talk about a little bit more about the food that you grew up with. Like, what was Mama Saeng's food like? Mama Saeng.
Mama Saeng. Well, so my mom's from the south, Savanakhet of Laos.
Okay, so let's talk about Lao food in
regional,
general, right?
So I go to Laos once a year on my Lao foodie tour, bring 15 people with me to explore northern Laos. So example, just a really brief example of understanding Lao cuisine regionally. So northern Lao is more on the lighter end in terms of like Padaek, right? They use a little bit, but not as much, and there's a lot of heaviness on like dark black crab paste and sometimes numbing paste, and then in the south
numbing
peppercorn.
Okay,
Kinda
okay, like
Szechuan,
Szechuan.
but not.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a different type of Szechuan.
yeah.
And then south is like where my family's from. That's heavy Padaek, heavy funk, because also Mekong is right there next to it, so they have access to freshwater fish, and so they have to make with what they can. But so essentially, that is the bigger difference when you're looking at regional.
So it's north and south, and lighter and more. But yeah, Mama Saeng's food was?
So Mama Saeng's food was very heavy on Padaek.
Okay.
She was known. So of the like 5-6 families in Laos, of the 5 to 6 families in Wisconsin, she was known as the Padaek lady.
The
so
Padaek lady.
All the families would come and like literally get Padaek from her. And it's because like my dad was the fisherman, so he would go fish in the morning, get all the tilapia, all the freshwater fish, and my mom would either dry it, fry it, or turn it into Padaek. And so she had like gallons and gallons of buckets in the garage, in the basement. She still has like 5-10 buckets of Padaek in the basement.
I think everyone wants to know this. If you cook with anything that's funky, right, and you live in an apartment, how do you get rid of the smell?
If you cook with any,
you don't.
Yes. I mean, maybe I'm just so used to it that like it's no longer funky to me. It's perfume to me.
But yeah, like I always tell people, if you want, I think my partner does this a lot. He would heat up lemongrass, like water and lemongrass oil, or just like usually we use the roots, right? The top part we kind of throw away.
It's so hard.
I'll keep it, and then we'll boil it, and then that will be like, it helps with the smell.
Oh, I might have to try that. My partner, he opens every cabinets and he sees Padaek everywhere. So I'm just like my mom.
Is he
now.
Asian?
He's Asian.
Okay, so he can understand a little bit.
He does, but yeah.
Okay, so we've reached this part of the show we call Hungry Questions. So it's quick fire, this or that. Don't think about it, just answer. Okay. So this is Hungry Questions. Sticky rice or jasmine rice?
Sticky rice.
One Lao dish the world is sleeping on.
Gang no mai.
What is that?
Bamboo stew. It's so good.
Most underrated Lao ingredient.
Padaek.
One food smell that means home to you.
Lemongrass.
One gel that you cannot live without.
Gel bong.
A Lao dish people should stop mislabeling.
Lap.
Okay. Spice level, gentle, brave, or dangerous?
Dangerous.
Last one. What are you still hungry for?
Sticky rice.
I thought he was going to go into a deep moment and talk about the second book. Or
is that what you mean?
No,
I can answer
that's perfect.
I am hungry for a second book.
Okay, just in case the publishers are listening, he is still hungry for the second book. Okay, and we all need a sponsor. If you all want to sponsor the next cookbook, please sign on. Okay, I'll be his manager.
There we go.
Okay, so you're obviously here to talk about the cookbook, right?
Yeah.
So tell me all about the cookbook, the inspiration behind it. Why now?
Yeah, so this book has been 6 years in the making.
Oh.
People think it's a really fast process, but yeah, it takes well, for me, it took 6 years. So in 2019 was when I left my job as an academic counselor at UCLA and decided to become an entrepreneur in the food space. So I was a personal chef for a few years, and along the way, I've always wanted to write my own cookbook. But along the way also, I would reach out to publishers or literary agents, and they would not have any time for me because they didn't know what Lao food was, and I wasn't a big deal. And so I had to build myself up in order to get this publishing deal. And so essentially, the one day I made a TikTok about how I wanted to write a cookbook.
Right.
And so I found out one of my fans was an editor of 10 Speed Press, and she reached out to me and saying, like, hey, I think you would be a good person to possibly do this.
Right.
And so that kind of started the wheels going. And so after the 3 years of kind of creating my platform and doing what I could, that was when I got the book deal. And so it took 3 years of writing. I did with my own photos, and now it's out.
You shot everything yourself?
Yes, I shot everything myself.
Oh my God. And like someone who is buying this cookbook and going through this cookbook for the first time, because how do you navigate it?
So I like to think of this book as like a Lao food primer. So it's like all of Laos, different regions. But essentially the first chapter is about jails and pantry. And so I like to tell people, start out getting your own deep mortar and pestle and making different jails, because you'll use that throughout the book.
Yeah.
And then there are different chapters that are split up into like sticky rice, whole chapter on lap, whole chapter on like papaya salad, whole chapter on Lao fusion food, what Lao America looks like. And so it really depends on the type of person. If you're new to it, start at the front.
Okay, so like you would read it like a storybook. Actually, yes, it is very like a storybook.
So if you see in the beginning, it starts with the monks alms giving the kids, and at the end it starts with them as adults eating at a stall. It's not the same one, but that was my idea. Like I wanted a full-rounded idea when we were shifting the photos.
That's so thoughtful.
Yeah,
that is so thoughtful. I have never put so much thought in a cookbook. I think.
Yeah, it was I wasn't a photographer before, but now I am, I guess.
Yeah.
But I had to create my own portfolio and train under one of the food photographers that I look up to, and now this was what was created from all of that.
And you talked about something which I think we should focus on. Two things. We want to talk about the Lao American food, but before that, you mentioned pestle and mortar. How do you choose the pestle and mortar?
So in Laos, the mortar and pestles that we use is made of like the dark clay, the very rough clay.
Okay.
And the pestle is made out of a really hard wood. And so what is known within Laos is the deep one, the tall, deep one. But then if you see the regions around it, like in Thailand, those are known for, I believe, the stone ones.
Yeah.
They use the stone, smaller ones. But we use the deep ones because we love papaya salad so much. Because when you smash it and mix it, you don't want it fling out.
Right.
But essentially, that's where the preference is the deep one.
So when you buy your clay pestle and mortar, before you use it, do you need to season it? Do you do anything with it?
I do just a light rinsing, and then I add some sticky rice that's been soaking in water, and then I kind of like smash it up to get all the extra dirt or whatever to come out, and then I just rinse it off and it's ready to use.
That's interesting. So different people do different things, right?
Do you do anything?
I would use coconut oil, rub a layer, and I would actually heat it up, like bake it, like almost like seasoning a cast iron.
Yes.
And also, like, some people would put rough salt to do what you did, to kind of like scrape it.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, always coconut oil. I don't know why, actually. Sometimes you do things that, like, because your grandma told you that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So, for people who are going to get this cookbook for the first time, exposing themselves to Lao cuisine, right? What do they need to prepare themselves for? What is the Lao Pantry? What are the Lao Pantry musts?
So I think a lot of like general home cooks, I want this book to be accessible. And so of course there's the Padaek recipe in there. If they want to wait a whole year to make it, they can do that. But I usually also give alternatives. So like The Padaek that I would use if I'm not using my own is called Pantai, Pantai. It's a great brand that's universal when it comes to when the recipe asks for Padaek. But also, if people are not haven't had funky food like this before,
Right.
I would say ease into it. And a good way to, like, if it says 1 tablespoon of Padaek, you can always use like maybe a little bit and add more, mostly just fish sauce. And so like those are some of the pantry items you need, and also just a lot of fresh ingredients. So like I think about lemongrass, lime leaves, galangal. We make a lot of different pastes and stews from that. And then a lot of fermentation outside of Padaek would be like the somu fermented pork sausage. One of my favorite recipes in there. But essentially, I think getting the right sticky rice, because people don't understand that sticky rice, you don't make sticky rice from any rice.
Right.
It's a type of rice.
Yeah.
And so making sure that you get the correct rice, sometimes it's labeled glutinous rice, sweet rice, sticky rice, but don't use jasmine rice when
Yeah.
you're asking for sticky
Okay,
rice.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so like one final thing about the cookbook, like what do you hope this cookbook will be for Lao people, for you, for anyone?
I mean, I wrote it from my POV as a Lao refugee, part of the Lao diaspora. So I hope it is a book that gives more context to the Lao people. I hope it creates empathy for Lao Americans, because I think a lot of the times we are asked all these questions. What is Lao food? Who are your people? And a lot of times as kids, we don't have those answers. And I so hope that the next generation, that this is a resource for those kids, that when they get asked those questions, they can just be like, oh, this is the Lao Kitchen, check it out. Or even for themselves, they can read it to understand who their parents are, who their grandparents are. And I think it's just a great resource for just home cooks that are passionate about like Southeast Asian food. They want to do more exploration, more than like Thai food or Vietnamese food. Like there's more to that. So I hope it gives them this like opening to understanding the nuances of Southeast Asia.
Okay, we're going to backtrack a little bit because I forgot to talk about this. You mentioned Lao America. What is Lao America?
So I say Lao America as the Lao people that have come over during after the war. Like there are so many different pockets within the United States of what Lao America is. So the Lao diaspora, a lot of them are in San Diego, are in Dallas, Fort Worth, Fresno, Minneapolis. So there are different pockets that I think if you were to visit those cities, you get to experience a little bit of Lao America. I actually just went to one of the biggest Lao New Year's in Saginaw, Texas this past weekend. And that's where you get neighborhoods, like blocks and blocks of Lao people. It's like a whole village of them. So you're hopping from house to house and taking henny shots. And then you go to the Lao New Year, which is at the temple, and there's just amazing food, different vendors all across the temple, and it's just a huge celebration all weekend. So that's what Lao America is to me.
Wow. And do you feel that Lao American food is okay?
Lao American, yeah. I mean, I think for like the last chapter here is Lao American fusion.
Yeah.
I encourage people when they learn the traditional Lao food to play in the kitchen, because I think creativity and art, that is what is created when you can kind of live in both of your experiences of being Lao or of being American and what those worlds look like. And so I think, I'm excited to see what Lao American food looks like as we progress within.
Do you think that this will be a threat to the authenticity of Lao food?
I don't think it'll be a threat. I think it's a continuation of how Lao food evolves. Because I think Lao food, what we know of it now to back then, it will always be there. It is literally here now. So this book can't be erased. So I think we can only expand from it.
Yeah, I like that. It can be erased.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm really, really happy for you, and truly my hats off for you for writing this cookbook. It takes a lot to share truly who you are with everyone else, and thank you. I think that's I've been through that. So when I see that, I'm like, wow, it's not easy, and I know where you come from. My hats off to you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
But before we cry, I have a closing tradition in this podcast. Whenever I travel around the world, I carry with me the Hungry Journal, where the guests whatever guest will leave a question for the next guest of the show without knowing who's the guest, right? On the front. And in the back, you write down a recipe that hopefully I would one day want to have a cookbook called The Hungry Immigrant, representing the immigrants of the world, right? So this is MasterChef Mexico 2018. Ismail Zhu, he is half Chinese, half Mexican. And he asked you, what inspires you to wake up every day?
I'm inspired by my people. Like, I think I do this work because it just, there's a purpose to it. There's history to it, and I think there's so much beauty in the Lao people that it gives me this opportunity to speak, to share my strength as a speaker, as a refugee kid, as someone that is open to talking about anything. Because I think about my family that is so shy, that is so intimidated by the world, that I hope that me waking up, doing this work, provides confidence to my community, because I think it is needed. Because once one person can show up for the community, I think that energy radiates to everyone else,
right,
and they can pursue their passions, dreams as well.
For people who are leaving this conversation, what is the one thing they should take away about Lao people?
One thing they should take away is that Lao people are resilient. I continuously remind myself of my parents' journey of my dad as a soldier, my mom in the refugee camps, and like how they literally came from Laos to the Midwest with nothing but recipes in their head. And I think the beauty of it is that you can create the world that you want. My mom created Laos in Wisconsin. And so I hope people know that whatever happens in life, you can continue on and create what you need.
Wow. Okay, and with that, before we close, how can we support your work? Where can we get the book?
Yeah, so I would love it if you all grab a copy of the Lao Kitchen. It's available at wherever you get cookbooks, so whether it's easy Amazon or Barnes & Noble or at your local bookstores. I encourage people to support their local bookstores. And then a lot of my work, my video work, can also be found at Saeng's Kitchen on YouTube, or at Saeng Douangdara on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And especially at saengskitchen.com. So I also encourage, if you don't want to buy the book yet or you don't have the funds, go to saengskitchen.com. I have free recipes there, and if that like brightens up your kitchen, then maybe you can add the Lao Kitchen as well.
Okay, for people who are like, okay, this is my first time hearing about the country called Lao. Okay, one recipe either on your website or in the book that they should try. Just one.
Just one. This is gonna wow everyone. Make nam khao. It is the crispy rice salad. It's like fried rice, but deep fried rice. So you get the crunchy, umami, spicy. It's actually on the back of the book right here. It's one of my favorites. It's so good. You got to try it. Deep fried rice.
Oh my god. Oh, with the crust and stuff.
Yeah, you get the crust outside, and you get the soft inside, and just mixes so well.
Okay.
You eat it like a lettuce wrap.
Well, with that, thank you very much, Saeng, for making time to be with us here and sharing so much about your journey, your life, the book. And really, again, congratulations. I'm really, really happy for you. And yeah, dear publishers, we need a second cookbook.
Oh boy. let's tour here and then we'll see. But I'm interested.
Of which the last location we have not actually determined. And then we'll talk about the second cookbook.
Yeah, then we'll talk about it. But thank you so much for having me. It was great.
Thank you. And as usual, as we close out, I will always remind everyone to keep their plates adventurous and their hearts open. This is The Hungry Immigrant.